Hey guys, what's going on? A few days ago, I put a poll on the community tab to see which video idea you would like next, and this one came out on top. So in Revenge of the Sith, we see the High Jedi Council declining Anakin the rank of Master. This small detail in the movie actually amounts to more than we will ever know. Well, we can theorize what could happen, but until we get a Star Wars What If show, we'll just have to guess. So in today's What If, we will explore one of the many possibilities that could have transpired from Anakin being granted the rank of Master. As Anakin stands before the High Jedi Council, Mace Windu says,
"You are on this council. We grant you the rank of Master."
He gestures for Anakin to take a seat, which he kindly obliges to. Anakin was beyond happy. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Not only because of the high honor bestowed upon him, but more importantly, now he had access to the restricted section in the Jedi archives. After receiving dreams of Padme dying in childbirth, he needed answers, which is where in the story we know he is seduced by Palpatine and thus turned into Darth Vader. But with Anakin now going to the restricted section, well, perhaps he could find other answers. Ancient texts or even holocrons from old ancient Jedi or Sith alike that could help him on his quest. One night, Anakin slips out of his bed in Padme's apartment. He hops on his speeder and heads for the Jedi Temple. At night, the temple showed little life. For once, he was able to walk through the halls freely without being disturbed. He enters the archives where he makes his way to the secret room at the end, and using the Force, he opens the door. The restricted section of the Jedi Temple. This room was even larger than the one he had just left, maybe even double the size. How had he never seen this before, he thought to himself. As Anakin roamed the rows of texts and objects, he read more and more, indulging himself in the teachings from all over the galaxy. He learned of old civilizations and worlds that he had never heard of, even different foods and cultures. As he entered the Jedi section, he saw one text called Healing. Immediately stealing Anakin's attention, he opened it, and he didn't put it down until he was finished. This is it, he thought to himself. Force heal, and it's a Jedi technique. I must learn this. I'll be able to save Padme after all. Anakin withdrew the book from the archives and read it further, learning the technique. He would practice on different animals and creatures that he encountered whilst on missions from the Order. He had become a master at that technique in only a few weeks. Anakin told Palpatine of this mysterious power that he had learned. At this stage, he trusted Palpatine more than anyone. He truly confided his feelings to the Chancellor and became extremely close with him. Although praising this new ability and pursuing caution into Anakin's mind, behind the scenes, Palpatine was furious. Over 10 years of long manipulation gone to rest. His whole plan had gone to ruins. He was relying on the Jedi not granting Anakin the rank of Master, as well as Anakin feeling desperate from his visions of Padme. What could he do? There was no way of pulling Anakin to the dark side. Not anymore. Not peacefully, anyway. He needed to do something. So here is where the story could go one of two ways. First, Palpatine could use his patience and actually wait for Luke and Leia to grow old, and use his manipulation on them. They are the children of Skywalker at the end of the day, and hold exceptional powers in the Force. Or the second option, he could take his anger out on the one Anakin loves. I think option 2 is a lot more fun. Palpatine knew that Anakin was still fireworks ready to be set off. All he needed to do was pluck the right strings and manipulate the right actions so that Anakin would eventually go boom, just as we saw in Revenge of the Sith. Palpatine heads for Padme's apartment, whilst Anakin was off-world on Jedi business. As he approaches the door, he encounters her guards whose necks he snaps before they can even raise their arms. Padme was shocked to see him in her apartment. He had never made a personal visit before, especially unannounced.
Hello, Chancellor. What may I help you with?
Good evening, Senator. My business tonight has nothing to do with you personally, but you have become a liability.
Palpatine cackles as he ignites his crimson blade. Padme takes a sharp breath and stumbles back, knocking dishes from the table on the floor.
What are you doing, Chancellor?
She calls for her guards, to which there was no response.
Please, I have kids on the way. You can't do this. Why?
She pleads for him to leave, but Palpatine, the abomination of human spirit, walks forward, forcing the lightsaber blade through Padme's stomach, killing both her and the children soon to be born. Palpatine leaves her body on the floor and heads back to his office with a grin not leaving his face. Days passed and there is no word from her. Anakin returns from his mission off-world and gives the briefing to the Jedi Order. Then he makes his way home for the night, excited to see his wife, whom he had not seen in weeks. As he walks through the front door, he smells the deceased bodies of their guards living on the floor. Anakin immediately runs into the house, calling for Padme, but there was no answer. Running from room to room, he didn't find anything, until he entered the kitchen. Her body lay on the tiled floor. Though dead, her hair stayed perfectly placed across her face. Anakin dropped to the floor. His silence spoke 1,000 words. Tears flooded the corner of his eyes as they dropped from his cheek to the floor. Anakin stands, taking deep breaths, his sadness gone and rage lifting. Not only had he lost his wife, but his soon-to-be children. Anakin tries to calm his emotions as best he can, but he can't. It was too hard. He had lost way too much. First his mother, and now this. He leaves his home and goes to Palpatine's office. He needed to speak with someone that he trusted, and that couldn't be the Jedi.
Ah, Anakin, to what do I owe this pleasure?
Anakin was visibly distraught. My wife, Padme, she's dead.
I am terribly sorry, Anakin.
Palpatine's sincerity showed little convincing, but the state that Anakin was in, he didn't notice. Anakin stomps back and forth, pouring his feelings to Palpatine. With each passing moment, his anger steadily increasing, coursing through his veins. Palpatine could sense it, and encouraged it by asking more questions to further provoke his anger. As Anakin marches the room, an object on a shelf in the corner caught his eye. When Palpatine stood, glancing out the window at the city below, Anakin moved to the object. It was the necklace he had given Padme years earlier. She wore it everywhere. How does he have it? Anakin's rage began to boil. That's Padme's. Where did you get it?
Anakin, come now, what are you trying to say?
There was no time left to mourn. His wife's murderer stood in front of him. Anakin's gaze shifts back to Palpatine, and he ignites his lightsaber. And that's where I'm gonna leave part 1. I would love for some input for part 2 and how Anakin's confrontation with Palpatine will go. I won't just pick one comment, but I'll compile a few together and then meld my ideas into it as well before creating part 2. This is a story I would love to finish. I know usually only one part comes out because I really struggle with writing a conclusion to stories, but this one I will definitely end. I have also tried to make this what if a little bit longer than the others, as some of you have requested this. By the time the second part is finished, this will most likely be around 20 minutes, so tell me if you prefer the longer what ifs or the shorter ones like I usually do. So yeah, just drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I am very excited to see what you guys think. Thanks for watching, I really hope you enjoyed it, and as always, have a good day everyone.